Well, praise everyone. I have a very important message that every Christian needs to hear and every Christian needs to understand. And that message is about eternity, everlasting life, entering into God's kingdom. See, a couple things will keep us from entering heaven. One of those things, of course, is sin. Everyone knows if you're living a life of sin and you're rejecting God's way, then you will end in hell. That is, anyone who truly believes in Jesus and his words. Jesus sends people to hell if they reject him and if they live for themselves. Now, sin is obvious. It's pornography, drunkenness, lewdness, carousing, parties, witchcraft, just indulging in all the desires of the flesh. But there is something else that brings a person to hell. And this is what I want to talk about, because there are some Christians that are on their way to hell, but they believe that they're going to heaven because of this particular thing. And that particular thing that is bringing them to hell is that they are serving God in the way that they fit. They're serving God in their own way and not the way that is guided by the Holy Spirit. Now, if you want to see testimonies about this, there are many testimonies on YouTube of Christians, some of which were pastors, and God allowed them to see the afterlife, and they were on their way straight to hell, even though they were not sinning. They were not looking at porn. They were not committing adultery. They were not drunkards. They weren't doing anything that was sinful, but still they were on their way to hell because they were serving God their way in their church. And they were not serving God by the guidance of his Holy Spirit. Now, if you want to check out some of these testimonies, one that I would recommend would be the testimony of Howard Pittman. I believe there's a testimony on YouTube of his under the title of Placebo by Howard Pittman. It's about probably an hour or two long. It's definitely worth your time to watch. Howard Pittman was a brother in the Lord, and he shares his testimony with the church about this. He believed that he was a Christian. He believed that he was going to heaven, but he had a near-death experience. He found himself dead and on his way to hell. God let him see angels and demons. He wanted to plead for his life, that God would allow him to come back to earth. And when he got to stand before God, God basically told him, "Why would I let you into my kingdom when you're part of dead religion?" That was just my interpretation of what God said. But Howard Pittman has that testimony if you want to see it for yourself and exactly what God told him. But the point being here, guys, is Howard Pittman was not a big sinner. He was not someone that was just in the world, but he was one of many pastors who was serving God his own way, and he found himself on his way to hell for serving God his own way. I encourage you to watch that testimony, because you might also be in his same shoes on your way to hell, thinking that you're going to heaven because you're not sinning. Of course, sin will bring you to hell, but also serving God your own way will bring you to hell. So this is the warning to you and to the whole Christian church. You need to serve God by the guidance of the Holy Spirit, his way, not your way, not the dead religion way, not the church way, not the Babylon system. Come out of apostasy and serve Jesus by the guidance and the love of his Holy Spirit. Do you know Jesus, and do you know for a fact that he is leading you and guiding you? Do you know that when you stand before him, that he is going to say, "Good and well done, my faithful servant"? Or will you find yourself in the shoes of Howard Pittman the first time he died, when God said to him basically, "Away from me"? Make sure that you are not that soul that God says, "Depart from me, you who practice iniquity." Make sure that you get this thing right with Jesus, that you serve God his way and not your own way. May the grace of Jesus be with you.